We human beings are characterized by various attitudes, behaviors, and personality traits. Our thoughts and actions are sometimes influenced either by ourselves, that is the concept of self, or by our social circle, that is our family, or by our society, that is the world around us. When we humans demonstrate such various traits, it helps us to differentiate one human being from another. Each one of us is characterized by many behavioral patterns that are inbuilt within us. This is what makes us different from every human being. And we exhibit various personality traits and different defense mechanisms. We, Abhimanyu Saini, Deepak Singla, Neeraj Gaurav, and myself, Arjun Singar, have made an attempt to analyze these various behavioral patterns, personality traits, and defense mechanisms. We have chosen a Steven Spielberg film, Catch Me If You Can, and have analyzed the characters of Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, and Christopher Walken. Welcome to the journey of our character analysis of these characters.
Would you believe me that a person successfully impersonated a pilot, a doctor, and a lawyer in his real life?
Would you believe that a person forged millions of dollars as bad checks from US banks?
And would you believe he did all this before turning 19?
And if you think that this is not possible, then you need to know the story of Frank Abagnale Jr., who did all this and much more in 1960s.
The story revolves around a teenager who runs away from his unhappy home to live a life of great adventure, conning people by assuming multiple identities.
Frank idolizes his father, who lands in trouble with the IRS, and which leads to the adventurous journey of Frank.
And now, Mr. Arjun Singar will tell you more about Frank's adventurous journey.
Carl, I'm sorry, but I have to go.
You didn't call just to apologize, did you?
What do you mean?
You have no one else to call.
As we just seen the previous video, we realized that Frank Abagnale Jr. didn't have much companions. He didn't have many friends to talk to. Frank was a self-centric person who was just concerned with achieving his goal.
Today, doctor's appointment.
One moment. I'll be right with you.
Yes.
You should fold it.
What?
That note, it's a fake, right? You should fold it.
It's a note from my mom. I have a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, but there's no crease in the paper. When your mom hands you a note to miss school, the first thing you do is you fold it and you put it in your pocket. I mean, if it's real, where's the crease?
As we can see in the video, we do get to know the rational approach and logical sense of Frank Abagnale Jr. This also speaks volume of his intellectual, thoughtful, and perceptive ability as a person.
Quiet down, people! My name is Mr. Abagnale. That's Abagnale, not Abagnale, not Abagnale, but Abagnale. Now, somebody please tell me where you left off in your textbooks? Excuse me, people, if I need to ask again, I'm going to write up the entire class. Take your seats!
As we can clearly see in the previous video, that Frank Abagnale Jr. was such a confident person. Not just that, but a talented soul too. He had this uncanny ability to camouflage his true identity.
The truth is that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an airline pilot. I'm nothing really. I'm just a kid who's in love with your daughter.
As we can clearly observe in the previous video, we realize that Frank Abagnale Jr., though he appears to be a dishonest person to the outside world, but to the people he trusts and confides in, he has no qualms on expressing his intentions and revealing his true identity with those relationships he cares about.
Two little mice fell into a bucket of cream. The first mouse quickly gave up and drowned, but the second mouse, he struggled so hard that he eventually churned that cream into butter. And he walked out. Amen.
As we see in the video, Frank Abagnale Jr. narrates the same story his father had narrated to him a few years ago. Frank always looked up to his dad, idealized him, and used to seek inspiration from him.
Who you were going to live with after the divorce, whose custody you will be in.
And there's a blank space right here.
Now I want you to go into the kitchen, sit at the table, and put a name down. You can take as long as you want, but when you come back into this room, I want to see a name on that line.
Frank, just write down a name. This will all be over. It's going to be okay.
As we all know that every human being reacts in a certain way for a given situation. This means to say that we demonstrate a defense mechanism to counter a given situation. In the video scene, we see that Frank Abagnale Jr. develops a splitting defense mechanism when his parents are getting divorced. Splitting defense mechanism is when you move away or detach yourself from an unpleasant situation.
Don't worry about it. Well, what's your name?
Henry. Carl Henry.
Mind if I see some identification?
Sure.
You know, you never can be too careful these days. Well, tough luck, Carl. 5 minutes earlier, you would have landed yourself a pretty good collar.
As we can clearly see in this video, Frank Abagnale Jr. believes in the concept of self. He, being an excellent con artist, he doesn't seek any form of inspiration or support from the external surrounding. Being a con artist has become an integral part of his life. As we can see in the video, Frank has the skillful guile in manipulating any situation to his advantage. He also appears to have this combination of the following personality traits, and that is introvert, intuitive, feeling, and perceptive.
And we're not open.
Darcy, please, come back. Darcy, is this yours? I just found it in the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
Must have slipped right off your neck.
As we can see in the video, Frank's dad was an extrovert and had good interpersonal and social skills with the ability to convince other people easily.
Two little mice fell in a bucket of cream. The first mouse quickly gave up and drowned. The second mouse wouldn't quit. He struggled so hard that eventually he churned that cream into butter and crawled out. Gentlemen, as of this moment, I am that second mouse.
As we can see in this video, Frank's dad always instilled positivity in others' lives. He always saw the brighter side in every situation and had the ability to motivate his son to pursue his dreams.
So, please, don't come to my home and call my boy a criminal because that
Never
kid
said he
has
was
no
a criminal,
guts.
Mr. Abagnale. I said he was in trouble.
As we can see in this video, Frank's dad really cared about his family. He was never being judgmental neither about his wife nor his son. Not even once did he give up on his son. Whatever he did, Frank's dad always supported his son.
I have plenty of money. You know, if you never ever need anything.
You worried about me?
No, I'm not worried.
You think I can't buy my own car? 2 mice fell in a bucket of cream, Frank. Which one am I?
As we can clearly see in this video, Frank's dad, given the unpleasant situation he was in, he still wasn't prepared to take help from his son. He wasn't ready to accept this hard reality, hence exhibited the defense mechanism of being in a state of denial.
It's small, but you know, it's going to be a lot less work. A lot less work for you.
Dad, how could you just let him take our car like that?
He didn't take anything. We took him. He overpaid by $500. Come on, Frank.
As we can observe in this video, Frank's dad always tried to see positive things even in a negative situation. This shows that Frank's dad always used to demonstrate the defense mechanism of sublimation, wherein he focused all his energy towards positivity.
Does this belong to anybody?
As we can see in the video, Carl Hanratty always preferred being in solitude over socializing. He always preferred to stay by himself and interact with people only when necessary. This also demonstrates his nature of introversion.
Books. Comic books. Barry Allen is the Flash.
Carl, slow down, slow down.
As clearly demonstrated in the video, Carl Hanratty had the great intuitive ability. He used this ability to find significant clues which eventually helped him to catch Frank Abagnale Jr.
14 checks? Wait, I'm sure we can take care of that. I'm working part-time at the church now. Just tell me how much yours and I'll pay you back.
So far, it's about $1.3 million.
As we can see in the video, Carl Hanratty believed in keeping things simple and never beat around the bush. By nature, Carl was an honest and a straightforward person.
Oh, that's just great. I asked my team and they dragged the bottom of the Pacific.
What if I ask you a question, Agent Handwriting? How come you're so serious all the time?
Does it bother you, Mr. Anders?
Yeah. Yeah, it does bother me.
Does it bother you, Mr. Fox?
A little, I guess.
As we can see in the video, Carl Hanratty was a serious and a sincere officer. However, he demonstrated occasional outbursts of humor. As we can see in the video, Carl Hanratty was a person of relentless perseverance and he didn't stop until he caught Frank Abagnale Jr.
States, you wouldn't run.
Why'd you do it?
You're just a kid.
I'm not your kid. You said you were going to Chicago.
As we can see in the video, Carl Hanratty exhibited the defense mechanism of compensation as he clearly demonstrated this mechanism of compensation by covering up for his failed marriage by working for long hours with utmost commitment towards being an FBI agent. This finally leads to the completion of character analysis. Now, you all must be curious to know what happened to Frank after getting caught by the FBI. You also must be wondering to know if Frank might have been jailed for several years. But that wasn't the case. He became so experienced that FBI eventually hired him to help them catch other check forgers. The most important part here is, it wasn't just Frank's dad who didn't give up on him, but it was also Carl who believed in him. Carl finally became a big support and a fatherly figure to Frank Abagnale Jr. Hey Frank! Catch me if you can!